when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello boys and girls, Miss Ernie, and today we're going to be pressing two beanies. Well, this isn't exactly Ernie, this is Ernie's hands. I still haven't got my table cleaned off, but I wanted to give you guys a stationary spot to watch this because my last video was kind of rushed and shaky and all that stuff. Like I had Michael J. Fox out here holding the camera for me. But I didn't. It was me. So, I got my webcam turned down. Later on when I edit the video, I will probably rotate it. So it might look weird, but I don't know. It might look cool. We'll find out. So what we are using today is, since we're in, this is a good representation of if you have a confined workspace. I'm obviously at my desk. I'm at my office desk. I got the P2S behind me across the room, and F1 Ultra is in a box from when we came back from our last event. I haven't unboxed it yet, so to put it back, but normally it goes up there too. So since I don't have any room right now, I threw down a piece of 6mm MDF from Artisan Wood Shop. So if you want some stupidly awesome MDF that cuts like butter, it actually cuts cleaner and better than plywood, believe it or not. I typically hate MDF, but this stuff is amazing. Check out Artisan Wood Shop, a veteran-owned business out of Texas. So support your local people, support your vets. Go check them out. Alright, shout outs out of the way. We are going to be using the xTool mini press because we are in a very confined area, right? Now, if you do not have the xTool whole kit, I don't know if you can buy this separately, and we'll get to this in a minute, but this comes as part of the kit. The kit is 12-inch press, which I'll do another video later doing some beanies on that. And it has handles on it where you can hold it and press it, and it also comes with a it snaps into a cradle, for lack of better words, and you can just use it like a normal press, but it's 12-inch. And then it also comes with this, which is a remote control thingy, and you can actually take the sensor out and put it in the back. This is on and ready to go, so but you can put it in the back here. See if I don't burn myself today. You can put it in the back, and now that Wi-Fi connects it right to that, so that's pretty handy. And I had this out in the other room, and I turned it on, this thing, and I heard this thing beep. So I mean, the range is pretty far, which is pretty cool. This is the handheld press from xTool. It looks like a little miniature iron, and it comes with a cradle. It's pretty heavy-duty plasticky stuff, and got some holes for vent. Where's the camera? There it is, for venting. It's pretty warm, but I can still touch it, but it's got some heat on it. Inside here it's got some silicone bits that it rests on, so it's not resting on the plastic. It heated up less than 5 minutes to 350 degrees, so it heats up fast. Excuse me. It's not a good Ernie video if I don't burp, right? So this is pretty cool. It connects wirelessly to either this press or the big press. And as you see, I've got it set at 350 degrees for 20 seconds. And it's got other buttons and stuff. When I'm ready to press, I press this one. It basically starts the timer. And you heard that little deal beep over there. And then when the timer's done, it'll beep. It doesn't turn the heat off or on or anything like that, but it's a timer for you, so that's pretty cool. On the back we have the on and off switch, charging port, which is a USB-C, and on and off switch, and that's it. There's nothing else to this thing. This does some stuff, but I haven't messed with it. I don't even know what it does, but it does stuff. It's in the manual. I don't need to use it, so I didn't bother reading it. Right now it does everything I need to do. So there's that. That's handy. I like to keep it on my left side when I'm pressing, so I just tap the button with my left hand when I'm ready. And that's really all we need to talk about with that. And this is the only downside to this little guy is the shape of the platen, right? I wish they would have done a even congruent oval or square even or something rather than this teardrop. I'm looking to see if I don't have any big patches over here. Figures. But I mean, it would work perfectly for these. I just did these earlier on some brushed metal stainless. But so this particular one, well, actually it's not. Okay, so it doesn't even cover it fully. I don't want to burn myself, but I probably will before it's all over. But as you can see, it doesn't quite cover the whole thing. It gets close, right? But little bits will be left hanging over. And this is not a normal size. It's pretty small. It's not that small, but I mean, it's not your standard 50 millimeters. At least my standard is 50 millimeters high. This is only, I don't even remember, 30, 33, something like that. Who stole my tape measure? Any other time, everything I need is right within reach. Oh, there it is. Alright, let's see. Just for shits and giggles, I was wrong, 45. So 45 by 75-ish. So, the fact that it's not going to cover a full patch, and imagine if this was a bigger patch, which I still can't believe I don't have one up here. I usually keep all kinds of crap up here. I bet I do. Oh wait, I'm stupid. I got a JDS patch right here. These little pre-mades from JDS. Customer that I made all these for. I made a whole bunch of them. But he has some pre-mades that he wants me to do up for him. I told him I'll do them, but next time I'd rather buy real material, not this stuff, because the adhesive is crap on these. But anyway, so this is your standard 3x2 patch, and as you can see, it's not going to cover it all, right? So what that means is when you press, you're going to have to press it a little bit and then go and press the other side vertically, or you do it this way and then that way. It doesn't matter, but you're going to have to do it twice. But if you don't have a big press or you have a confined space or whatever, I mean, it's an option to use. So, and it works really well. I have no complaints with it at all. Now, what we're going to be pressing today is these little tiny patches. Now, these will fit perfectly under the platen. Convenient, huh? So, I wrote my kids' names on these. That's my daughter. You know what, I wonder if I'm going to flip the video around later, I should probably be doing it like this, huh? So there's, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So now when I invert it, everything I showed you a minute ago will be upside down. I'm smart. Alright, so anyway, this is my daughter, and there's my son. And, wait, that's backwards again. Had it right the first time. Oh wait, did I? God, I'm stupid today. Whatever, who cares? So, the reason I made these is because I ordered 100 of these beanies. When I ordered my awesome beanies, and these are cool. I love these. I already did the video on these. These big fluffy sons of bitches. These are cool. This is the one I wear. It's got, you can't tell because this light on this webcam is so bright, but it's the carbon fiber. There, can you see it? Block some light. I can't block the light without blocking the camera. Stupid. Alright, anyway, it's carbon fiber. What I really like about these is the inside. They're so fluffy and soft. I did not expect that at all. And yeah, these are nice. So I ordered a bunch of these, and then when I also ordered these, I bought 100 of what I thought were regular beanies, right? Not the big, thick, fluffy, fancy ones. They were advertised as unisex standard beanies or whatever, and this is what I got. Now, I don't know if the camera's doing it any justice, but this looks like a little kid's beanie to me. There is a big difference between the two. Now, it does stretch, and when I told the lady, I'm like, look, these are for little kids, and she's like, well, let me see if I can find you some bigger ones in that price range, because these were pretty inexpensive. But, I mean, it does stretch, right? It'll go over an adult's head, but, I mean, and they say it's highly elastic stuff, so it will fit on an adult, but now I'm picturing like one of them old bald Italian dudes with the beanie that barely covers his noggin, and then there's a little bit on the front. I don't know, man. But these cuffs are not big enough to hold a standard patch. So if we get back to that JDS patch, it barely... Actually, this one, the other one I had, the cuff was folded even worse, and it's kind of a permanent fold. Even though it's not, it is. I mean, I would imagine maybe you could wash it. You can't iron it. I don't know how you get that crease out, but the other one, the other couple, I did like 4. The other couple that I did, you couldn't fit a full patch on. This one's, I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that, but it's really close, right? So yeah, it don't fit. So what I'm gonna do, I think these are more suited for children, and I've got some of them on my website for sale right now, just to kind of get rid of them, because it'll take me forever to sell 100 of them. I got 10 colors and 10 each. It'll take me forever to sell 100 of these to just children, right? And I really, I mean, yeah, an adult can fit them, but I think they're better suited for kids. And they're nice. It's not that, even though they're really inexpensive, it's not like the cheap and cheesy acrylic. They're soft and they're nice. So the light's making this look really bright blue, but it's not. It's more of a royal blue, like the Polar Camel royal blue cups. That's what it reminds me of. This is just a really bright light, so it's not that blue. That's some crap on there. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I put half of them up on the website for sale for $5 a piece, so people can buy a nice cheap beanie. By cheap, I just mean inexpensive, because they are good quality. And sell them to some kids, you know, or kids' parents anyway. But what I'm going to do with the other half that I left off of the website, I'm going to donate to local kids that, because I live in Maine, so it gets cold. It's already cold. It's going to be like 1 degree tomorrow night. That's going to suck. But I'm going to donate it to the local kids, and people will tell me their kids' names, and then I'll either put their name or their initial on it, and then send it to the police department, where they can go pick it up at the police department, instead of me having to mail it, or them coming to my house, or me going to their house, because the internet's full of creepy weirdos. I don't need people thinking I'm trying to steal children with the beanie. So I'm going to give them away to people that maybe can't afford them, or whatever the case may be. And then yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to make 2 of them for my kids to use as samples and take pictures of them. Jackson wants the blue one, Savannah's is purple. So as you can see, these little baby tags fit perfectly on there, right? So now it's a pretty cool beanie for a kid, and you got their name on it, so they won't lose it. Well, they'll probably lose it anyway, but I like this side better. I couldn't get that white thing out of there, but a patch will cover it. Okay, so what I do with my beanies, guys, you saw my temperature is 350 at 20. Yeah, let's do it this way. 350 degrees and 20 seconds. And that is because the wicked awesome adhesive that is being used on these patches, its activation temperature is 350 degrees. That's when it's chemically active and you get the permanent bond from the adhesive. It's not the melting point. The melting point's around 200 something, 220, somewhere in there. So when I take my big sheet stock and I apply the adhesive to the sheet stock, I use 220 for like 15 seconds, and it gets it with what you see now. So it's on there. I can peel it off, but I mean, you really got to work at it to peel it off. But it's just a temporary adhesion so that you can hold it, use it, cut it, whatever. The permanent adhesion comes at 350 degrees. Now, there are lots of different brands out there of adhesives, some good, some not good. This is just as strong as anything out there in the market, any other brand. You don't have to believe me, you don't have to take my word for it, I don't care. But I've already done the tests, I've already pulled them off of them. Hats, beanies, metal, wood, acrylic, whatever. It's just as strong as anything out there. There's only 2 other companies I know that have this strength. That's Lone Star and another company that I'm not going to mention because they're assholes. So anyone else is going to be subpar to those 3 companies. One of the difference that this adhesive it does is it has that 350 degree activation point, and then you ain't got to press it long. So I use the same settings on my wood, on acrylic. Hang on a minute. Let me find my button. Pause. Did the fucking pause not work? Or is... I don't even know. Recording. Okay, so I'll edit all this shit out. Alright, we're recording and the number's moving. Man, 17 minutes in and I haven't pressed a fucking patch. Alright, well this is more of a tutorial and an explanation, not a look here, I'm going to press and go. So, alright. Where was we before we got interrupted? Oh, now this thing will turn itself off. I don't know if you heard it beep earlier, but it did turn itself off after inactivity, so then you got to turn it back on. I guess it's to keep it from overheating. It got down to 307, so it'll climb back up to 350 pretty quick. So yeah, I'm going to donate these to the local kids. I'm going to post the link in the town's Facebook group and the police department's Facebook group, because my wife works for the police department. And people are going to message me their kids, either their name or their initials. And I didn't cut out the other one yet for my kids, because I like this better, but I was going to just do big letters, 25 by 25 of the initials. So, but we're going to do this for now. So here's how I do my beanies. We're at 350 degrees. Oh yeah, I was talking about adhesive, but who cares? I went into that rant just to give people the answer, because if they don't know and they're watching and they're going to be like, why the hell is he using their video? Oh, that's why. So that's the whole reason I went into that rant. So, that's what we're doing, 350 degrees, 20 seconds. And how I do the beanies is I turn them inside out. Okay. When you turn a beanie inside out, right, turn it this way, now facing you, where the hoopy end is facing you. Hoopy end, it's not a hoop. Helps if you actually turn it inside out. Alright, let's try again. There's your beanie. Grab the end and turn it inside out. And you notice this doesn't move, right? It's still the top. So when you know kind of where you want your patch to go, I don't preheat it and stick it or anything like that. I know where I want it. I know this is the front. So then I can just grab it from the middle or inside middle, turn it inside out. And I know this is the top, right? So then I put it toward me. So to you guys, it might look a little backwards. I don't know. Whatever. And on my big beanies, I do put a big piece of wood in there that stretches them to give them that head-like stretch. With these little beanies, I do not do that. I just smooth it out like you see me doing now. It kind of stretches it a little bit, which is more than enough for what we're doing. And then I take piece of wood. And I don't even put pressure on the sides. It's just in there to act as a backstop, really. And I will put it there in case I gotta go off the edge. So once I get my wood in there, I spread it out a little more. This does not take this long. It's just taking me this long because I'm doing it on a video. If I wasn't doing a video, I'd have done 10 of them by now. It goes really fast. So we do this. And one thing you can kind of do too is count your rows to help you find center. So since it's facing me, the top of the beanie is still up here. And I'm going to get this in the center. You can trust this crease as the bottom. It's pretty good. I like to go a tiny bit above center. That way in case the crease, the fold, adds another couple millimeters on it or whatever. I guess normally I have it closer to me like this and have the beanie hanging over the edge, especially on the big press, but since we're doing this for today, I'll move it up so y'all can see it better in the camera. When I did that, I moved everything around. I try to keep this straight. The beanies never get straight, people. Don't worry about it. It's a beanie. People don't even, there is no front and back, even though there technically is. People don't wear them like they're supposed to. They wear them however they want to. Now, one thing I will say too is even when if you wanted to count and find center, I'm just eyeballing this because it's for my kid. You kind of want to make sure your edge, the edge of your patch, is
one for my old
the shit.
dogs and the good.
Damn! Hit the play button on my Spotify. That was our old buddy. I don't know if I can say. Well, it's Oliver Anthony. I'm not worried about monetization with him because he's a cool dude. Alright, so anyway, make sure your edge of the patch is on one of these raised seams, not inside a valley, because when you press it, there's nothing for the edge to adhere to if it's in the valley, right? So all this stuff will come to you like second nature when you're doing it. So it ain't a big deal. Like I said, it doesn't take this long. And here's where you can stretch it more if you need to. If you need to reach those valleys and peaks and get them where they need to be. Now if you stretch it too far, when it goes back in, you can get some ripples and creases. But that's only going to show up when the hat is not being worn or the beanie's not being worn. When it's on somebody's head, you're not going to see that. Alright, well, it's not really lining up where I want it to. But I just want to get this shit done so we can move on to other things. So I'm going to put it right there. And we'll call that good. Oh, squish you. Yeah, we'll squish you. And we'll do that. There, that's better. That should be even. Should be straight enough. Right there. Alright. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead. I thought this board would have been enough room, but it's not, so I'm going to move this over here. I got one of these silicone things. I don't remember the website, guys. I mean, if I spend time Googling, I'll try to find it again and put a link up, but I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. Just 2.5 years ago, I was looking up what to cover with because I didn't like the Teflon. Because if you press too hard on Teflon, it can leave patterns in your leather. So I ended up getting this. This was actually sold as a placemat kind of thing to put pots and pans on, but it works perfect for what we're doing. Now people sell the exact same stuff and put labels on it, made for hut pressing or whatever, but they're full of shit. That's not what it was initially made for. That's just what they use it for now. So alright, all we do is throw it on there, and you see we've got 350 at 20 seconds. I'm going to take my little press. I'm going to put it. Now since this patch is so small, I ain't got to worry about it. It's pretty much going to cover it. And we're going to hit the button. Now if you notice, I'm not even putting any pressure on it. I'm just holding it in place, basically. Because with the beanies, you do not want to put a lot of pressure that's how you end up with scorch marks. And I'm probably going to have one because I just now noticed my Teflon's not all the way out there. Or Teflon, but a silicone. So that's cool. But you can actually see the outline of the deal there. So that's definitely covered it. And we're going to let her sit here a minute. Oh, I didn't scorch it. Maybe. Tiny bit. Make sure your rubber piece there, your silicone, is covering all the beanie, so you don't do that. A lot of people say they don't mess with it, but I do. I stick it in my hand, I turn it around, and I'll rub on it a little bit just to get the fibers poof back up, because you can kind of see a little bit of the iron shape here. I don't know if y'all can tell. It's not melted. When I look at it with my face, I mean, it's not melted, it's not gross, but it's just from having heat on it. Later on, that'll come right out. So, you really don't want to mess with them. Sometimes I do, and I know I'm not supposed to, but it's habit, right? So sometimes when it's still in there, I'll go around the edges with my finger. I wear those gloves that Lone Star sells, and when I'm using the big press and the big patches, when they come out pretty hot, I'll go around the edges when they're real hot, like this, a little bit, just to make sure it's down in case I don't have it perfectly on the valley. One thing I will say about the Heritage leatherette, be careful how much pressure you do put on it, especially even with your fingers, because, and I'll show you in a minute, I'll go get the other one, when I was pressing on it with my finger, I didn't get the, I think, now somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know, the Heritage that I bought was on the super thick stuff that they started making, or if it was before, I can't remember, but it seems thinner to me than the other stuff. So being that it was thinner, it kind of takes the shape of these ridges and valleys a little bit. So just be cognizant of that when you're pushing on it. Now when it cools enough to where it's kind of cold, I will go ahead and fold it a little bit. I'm not going to pick at it, because even though it's technically cooled down, the chemical reaction in the glue ain't quite done yet. So what I'm doing is I'm looking to make sure that the edge got adhered and there's no empty spot. As long as I see fibers stuck to it, I'm happy, and there's fibers stuck to it. Yep, and you want to make sure these are good when you're doing them for kids, because, you know, kids like to tear shit up. When I am done with a beanie and it's cooled, like the next day, I will take a brush, like a bristle brush, like a hairbrush with really, I don't know what the hell they call hairbrushes, not the ones that are far apart, but the really close together ones, and I'll brush it out. It helps poof this back up. So we'll set that aside real quick, and let's do the purple. And then when I get done with this one, I'll go in the living room real quick and get the other one that I did in the video the other day. That's been like 2 or 3 days now, and it's obviously been set a long time. So I told the wife to try to pull it off earlier, and she couldn't do it. So obviously if I got some pliers and yanked on it like a retard, I'd be able to pull it off, but I'd make a big hole in the beanie, I'm sure. But as far as pulling it with your fingers, mimicking what a child would do, stretching it out, you want to make sure it passes the stretch test, that kind of thing. Now, what do I like for the front? You or you? Not you. I like you for the front. Alright. So, there's our front. We grab that. We pull that through. We're good. We're good. We're flat. We're happy. We stick that in there. Push it up a little bit. Push it over a little bit. Try to make sure that this is pulled out a little bit too, because otherwise you end up with something like that. So I try to make these straight while giving it a little stretch. Like that. Alright. And we take the name tag, we stick her there, Push her back in a little bit. Right there. Line that up. Yeah, I probably could make a template, but I mean, obviously this is not a permanent setup. This is just me on my desk working. Alright, good enough for government work. Throw this thing on, the whole thing this time. Put that there, hold it with my finger, hit the button. Barely any pressure on it. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. The whole trick to making this work is heat. It likes the heat. The heat makes the glue do its magic. When the glue does its magic, it never comes off. Alright. Ow, shit, that's hot. Ooh. Fuck. Alright, and even though I know everyone says don't do this, I do it anyway. And it's really fucking hot. So I did this the other day on one of mine. I left like a permanent indent in it from pushing on it, and now it's kind of curved, but whatever. It was for me, so I don't care. But I just like to do this just to make sure the edges get in there, right? Really, because right now, when I first start pushing on it, when it's that hot, that glue is liquid under there. And that's why you don't want to mess with it normally, and you don't want to pull on it and stretch it, because that glue is a liquid under there. Now it's transforming back into a solid, and it's almost there. But I don't remember what the manufacturer told me, but you want to not touch it for 5 or 10 minutes, and the actual cure time I think is like half hour or an hour. I don't know. So I just wait till the next day. But I do this, like I said, even though I don't know why. I just feel better when I do it, just to kind of poof her out a little bit. And we're going to go look at the edges. Oh yeah, she's really good over there. I like that. I'm more worried about the blue one, because that's the little boy. He's 5. He's more likely to screw it up. But the girl's got a big head, so yep, this is good. I'm happy. No scorching, no burning. We have a little bit of spot you can tell where the heat was. But again, once it's 100% cool, hit it with a hairbrush, that'll come right out, because it's not actually melted. That's just where it was hot for a minute. But those of you that might be sitting there going, nah, it's bullshit. This one had the same thing. Alright, you can't see no iron mark on it. Alright, how do you make this left is right, right is left? There you go. Whatever. But yeah, there's no iron mark on that. And it had that little bit of a thing on it like the other one, but then I waited the next day and brushed it out. It's fine. So I'll be right back. Hold on a second. Alright, we're back. Now, those of you that watched the video the other day, this is the one we used as the sample for that. Put my hand under it and just bent it. I was just checking the pliability of it, and as soon as I bent it like that, all these little lines came on. And if you look behind it, those are the peaks and valleys of the shape of the beanie, which is interesting because it wasn't there. It's do I have any blank leatherette over here? Yeah. Alright, so, but I mean, pretty much if you take this stuff and you bend it, you're going to get a line, right? So now you see a line. So that's what's happening when you bend it on the hat. And this is the Heritage from Lone Star. I have some of my stuff that's very, well, it's exactly the same thing. But, and it does the same thing too. So, this is thick. Yeah, this is the thick stuff. I was wrong earlier. This is the 1.65, 1.7, whatever it is. It's the thick stuff. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing about it. It's just the type of material that it is. That's what it does. When you bend it, it stretches it, and it does that. So that that is going to happen as well when it's on your hat. So if your customer does that and they take it and then they do this, like, look, man, that's pretty cool, and then they bend it, it's gonna show the ridges of the beanie. You can see this is where the wife tried to peel it. Y'all can tell that corner is kind of scuffed. She was trying to pick at that one. And as you can see, not with that damn light, it don't want to come off. If I'm pulling pretty hard. If I pull any harder, it's either going to break my fingernail. I only got one. It's my booger picker. We're gonna start ripping threads, right? It ain't coming off. So I'm not gonna sit here and get pliers and yank it off because that's stupid. Because I want to save it and show people that it's not coming off. I mean, this corner's coming off now because she ripped at it and I've ripped at it. And if you really look at it, if I can turn this light down. You go down, light. Righty tighty does nothing. What is lefty loosey? Oh, there she's down. You can see on the back side of the patch, it's full of pieces of the acrylic, and the fibers are stuck to it now. That's why it's discolored. That's not the glue. That's the brown from the fibers, and they're all. Where are you? They're all stretchy. I'm trying to see if I can get it. There we go. See it pulling on hairs. So, anyway, we're not going to keep beating that dead boys and girls. I've got some of these cotton beanies from somewhere. I forgot. I don't know. One of the regular places, S&S or something. They're Katie, 100% cotton camos. Probably was S&S. I got half a dozen of them, and the one in question, the guy used a white one, so I'm going to do a white one. I'm going to do it the same way I normally do it to start, and then we'll see. The question was, why were his not sticking? Is it because they're cotton? Is it because they're thin? Does it need more pressure? All that jazz. What I'm going to do is my normal thing, which is 350 degrees at 20 seconds. I'm going to stick a piece of wood underneath it. I'm probably not going to stretch this one, just because since they are flat and real thin, you don't have to deal with a lot of the ridges. So I think we're going to get good adhesion, so I ain't worried about the stretch. I'm going to have to pause it and set it up because I can't do it one-handed, but I'm going to do all these. I've got patches set aside for all of them that I want to do it on, and I'll show a picture when they're all done. But for now, we're just going to do this white one here, and let me get it set up. Alright, so here's my setup. I've got a piece of 1/8 inch 3mm MDF inside. It's not really stretched, but it is, just put in there that way. Placed a patch on there, just kind of eyeballed it. One thing I will note is that, and on my next, I might have to go get some of my oak 6mm or thicker, maybe even, I don't know, something thick out of the office shop, because the seam over here is a little bit higher than the thickness of the wood, so that's going to get compression from the hat press. So I don't know if that's going to make a mark or what. We're going to find out. Just because I don't want to do anything different, I want to test it like normal. That could be a bad spot, but we'll find out. It's for science, right? Also, there is some seams here. You see it kind of got that little dimple there. Normally I would put more of the beanie up to here, but since this seam is here, I don't want compression on that seam, so I went ahead and hung that off the edge as well. So now this is going to be perfectly flat. So in theory, it shouldn't get much heat because of the distance between the top of the patch and there. And then I'm going to put the silicone on it when I pause it again, because I can't really do it one-handed. One thing to be concerned about, since these are thin, if you go and try and put more pressure, you could end up actually creasing that edge, so it won't be like a rolled edge, it'll be creased, so you got to watch out for that. That's why when I do these, I'll try to put the camera down like this so you can see, but there's really not much pressure on here. It's just enough. When I set it up, I set the pressure to hold the beanie as it's set with the patch and the silicone on top, where I couldn't really pull it out easily. If I pulled harder, it would come out, but if I pulled easily, it wouldn't come out. It's just enough pressure to hold it in place. So all you're really doing, again, is heating up the patch and the glue so that the glue can do the work. Alright, so let me press pause a minute and get the silicone on there. Alright, there we go. We lay it over all of it because I don't want the heat bare backing on the thing, even though this has a Teflon top. You just don't want it bare backing on the thing. So we pull her down and press it. You see I barely push that close. Counter's going down. That's just barely locked. So I mean, it's nothing. You see, there's not much of a, you can't really tell shit. But anyway, there's not a lot of pressure on it. So we'll see. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Alright. And we've moved this guy out of the way. Let her cool here a minute. Since I didn't stretch it, I'm not really worried about leaving it on there. Normally if I... oh, shit. That didn't do shit. Okay. Look at that. It came right off. Did not even melt the glue. So, that means I didn't put enough pressure on it. So, probably because I was doing this one beforehand. And as you see, that one's a lot thicker. So, now that he's cool, I can get that one ready, and he's good to go. Look at that. Perfect. So, this is obviously way thicker than that. That's what I get for trying to do 2 different things at the same time, because normally while the heat press is cool, I'll stick my finger under there and judge pressure that way. But I'm not going to do it while it's hot. So, let me adjust this and we'll be right back. Alright, so one way I can test this when I have it hot, I'll grab another piece of leatherette that does not have any glue on it, no adhesive, so there's no danger of sticking. I'll stick that on there, pull her down, and as you can see, she pulls right out. So that's not enough pressure. So let me, oh shit, let me not leave the heat on there. Oh shit. There ain't no heat on it anyway because it's too much of a gap, so I scared myself. Alright, anyway, let me adjust it. Be right back. Alright, so I got her adjusted, I got her ready, put the silicone on, we're going to press it. I put the other piece of leatherette in there with no adhesive, and when I close it, I ended up turning it 3.5 turns, and I couldn't pull it out. So I think that's going to be good. We'll find out. 3:50, 20 seconds, clock's ticking. What else was I had another thought, but it went away. I don't know. Maybe I'll remember in a minute. Alrighty. In case anybody's wondering, that's not intentional. That's from a 5-year-old with a Sharpie. Alright, so at least the thing heated up this time, and it's on, so I'm going to let it cool, and we're going to see how on it really is. So, I'm going to let that cool and do another, well no, I don't want to adjust it again. I got 2 more of the thick beanies to do for the kids. So, we'll let that cool, then I'll come back and pick at it a little bit, and we'll see if I'm ready to run the rest of them or not. Alright, so I got her set back up again. I didn't really let it cool long enough like I like to, but one side was looking pretty good, the other side maybe not, so I picked at it anyway, and it started to peel right up. So I had to pull on it pretty good to get it come up, so it wasn't like it was just falling off, but I did have to give it some. So we don't like that. So it is going to need more pressure, but again, we don't want to put more pressure on the beanie. We just want to put more pressure on the patch. Okay. We could also let it run longer. The longer it sits up there, then the more it's going to heat up the glue. And there's something white in there. But anyway, I'm going to do this first, and I'll try to leave it on longer next if it doesn't work. But what I've done, instead of increasing the pressure on the machine, I've increased the thickness of the piece of wood underneath, which basically raised the elevation, which is going to make it have more pressure on it. So we're going to have more localized, centralized pressure here, and all this is going to have almost none, which is what we want, because we don't want to be putting pressure on this with heat. So now I've got 2 pieces of 1/8 inch MDF in there, and if it didn't work, I could even stick another one, just keep sticking them in there until she gets good and in there, or just leave it on longer. But this might do it, because I did have to pull at it pretty good last time, so we'll see what this does here. Oh, don't do that. See if I can do this one-handed now. Getting tired of hitting pause and go and pause and go. The reason I like to do it two-handed is so I don't move the patch. I don't like to screw it up. Anyway, now that took a little more to push down, so that's telling me there is indeed more pressure. But as we can see, it's centralized pressure, because over here there's a good gap, and over here there's a good gap. So pressure's on the patch, not the rest of the beanie. Alright, so we're going to let that cool for a minute or two, and then we'll pick at it. But as we can see is right now, no real scarring on the beanie, no real outline even from the extra wood, which is great. A little bit of corner here, but that's probably just because gravity is pulling down on it, so that'll probably go away once she settles. But no creasing, and no creasing up here, which is what I was mostly concerned with. So I'll let that cool, and we'll be right back. Alright, so that kind of worked. I went ahead and picked at it. The front I can't get to come up, okay? And I mean, I picked at it pretty good. So the front's on there. These back corners did start to lift. So that's telling me I'm not getting heat there. And if we remember how I have it sitting, this is about as very edge as you can get on this machine. So given that this is just a little $200 press from Amazon or from Vevor, the coils they S through there, so it's probably not hot right here. And my temperature gun's buried in my office, but I'm willing to bet this is not getting the temperature, and it probably didn't get the pressure. Since we're elevating the pressure, I'm not really concerned with the rest of the beanie anymore like I was before, because it's going to be higher. So I'm going to do my best to smooth it out more, and I'm going to push it up here in the middle, closer to the middle where I know it's hot, and then we'll repress it, and that should probably hold it. So we'll be back. Alright, so I got her set up. Before I threw the Teflon on, I wanted to show you something. I pushed it way toward the middle before it was out here, right? So now it's way in there. We should get good pressure evenly across the whole thing, and heat. But remember that seam I was telling you about here? So what I did was I made sure that this piece stops right before the seam, so that the seam is not higher than the patch. Now it's lower than this piece of wood, so it's not gonna put extra heat and pressure on the seam. And now that I fucked it up, I'll fix it, but I'm gonna put it so it's butted right up to it. That way this line will go away too. So, alright, maybe fix that and then put the silicone on it. Ah, shit. I don't know what was recording and what wasn't. Alright, cool. I don't know what I said, so whatever. I'll review the footage later when I edit it, maybe add in. I'm going to let it cool, see what happened, and we'll be right back. Alright, so after just a 1 minute cool, I'm pretty happy and comfortable with that. See, when I stretch my finger in there a little bit, she's not trying to come up. It's staying on the beanie, even those down here. I did pick at it a little bit, same as I did before. It did not come up. I saw the fibers starting to pull on the beanie. So now what I'm going to do is let it cool, honestly. So I'll come back in about an hour, and then I'll really give it some tugs. Tugs. And then we'll see how that goes. And then I will run it through on the xTool press, which isn't set up yet because my wife decided to clean. So now everything's just stacked up because that's how she cleans, and she throws shit on my table. So I got to clean off my table, put the F1 Ultra back on here, put that xTool press on there, and then I'll press 1 or 2 more of these. Well, I'll probably do 1 more with this press, and then I'll use 2 on the xTool press, and then use 2 on the xTool handheld press. So we can get 3 different machines to see what gives us the best thing. But I mean, honestly, this,
cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way.
We'll find out. I'll edit all
So
these
you can
together.
go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better. See, I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that